fellow streakers, and a great big thank you to all of you who have purchased the book, and also a great big thank you for your notes. It's been great hearing how you have been able to read the book, and we get every once in a while, Jamie, and we're here with Talan again too, which we're excited about because he has been marketing this thing and trying to get it out there. But we'll get a note that, hey, I'm through chapter 3, really loving this. Or we'll get another note that I'm, like, for example, one person said, I'm going to read a chapter a day. And that's kind of what they said as far as their first streak. That's pretty intense streak. But
But
yeah.
good.
But it's so great to hear some of those thank yous, and some of the people that have started to use the app very excited about just the different things. Now, there's a couple things on the app that are not, we're working on the intuitive of it, but
learning how to use it.
Yeah,
Yes.
because remember one of his, you actually touch the hexagon to check
Yes.
that you completed. We don't have a checkbox.
Nope, there's no checkbox. It's the hexagon, the honeycomb.
It's the honeycomb. So just a great big thing, isn't it? It's just so great to have it out there. I mean,
incredible.
It is just so fantastic.
I'm loving it.
Are you really loving it?
I am loving it. We've waited a long time, and I love that people are enjoying the app.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's only more to come.
And that's just it.
Like this is the first version of a secure, incredible app, and it's only just what we have planned.
We have such big plans.
Yeah, it's
So,
gonna be better.
Talan, speaking of big plans, talk to us a little bit about streaking shorts.
Streaking shorts.
Yeah, what do we have coming out on that?
So one of the things that I was interested in when I first was introduced to the methodology into streaking was, what are other people doing? What are some examples of what streaks other people are doing? So streaking shorts will introduce you to possible streaks. So I want to be a morning person. That streak that you could do to be a morning person is to lay out your clothes for the morning. Make it easier to get outside. I have a streak I started today.
All right.
It's day one.
Day one.
I want to be a morning person. And to do that, I get up and I go step outside. And if I see light and if I step outside, it will make me want to stay up.
And how'd it go? How'd the first morning go?
It was great. It was raining.
It was raining.
It was raining, but it was a great first day, and I feel awake. And it's funny, when I did that, it gave me time to complete my other streaks. It was like this compound effect of starting my day right. So I'm excited. I'm not there yet. I'm not a morning person yet, but I want to be one.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I love that in developing, so looking at it and saying, I want to be a morning person, there was a bit of effort to go through thinking, well, what's a streak that's going to...
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do to be a morning person? Because
Yeah.
that's a unique one. That one was a little tougher for me because I felt like when we were talking about it, it feels like there's just people that are morning people and people that aren't. And so trying to understand, okay, I know getting up in the morning, I know successful people get up in the morning, but what do they do to get up? How do I do that? What do you do?
Yeah.
And not making it so hard where you're just like, well, I got to get up by this time every morning.
Well, because you kind of started with that, didn't you?
I tried to, I think a couple months ago, where I wanted to get up before 7 a.m. at least 5 days a week.
Okay.
And it didn't last long at all. It was too much. It was a time streak.
Yeah.
Right.
This, I think, is going to last a lot longer.
Yeah.
If the day, once it passed 7 o'clock, you lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There was
lost
nothing
it.
you could do.
And so some
those
days
are
where
hard.
I'm up, till 2 a.m. doing a project.
Right.
Or, it's not healthy for me to be up
At 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Right.
Before 7.
But at the time I wake up, whether that's at 6:30, like it was this morning, or if
Yeah.
it's going to be at 9, some days I go outside and I get ready for the day.
You know, that it's interesting. You can't underestimate the power of the laughably simple.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
that's not something you're broadcasting. That's not something saying, hey, I went upstairs and went outside, or I went, outside on
I'm
our
a
front
morning
porch.
person. I get up and go outside whenever I get up.
Good on you.
That's impressive.
And I think I know that because I've tested streaking before.
Yeah.
So I've started off somewhere where I know I was at this point, and now where I'm at in my streak, I do much more than that. I am at a different level from where I was before.
So let's just go on that journey just a little bit. Did you have a thought before we went
I did.
that way?
I wanted to ask a question. So, because it's been interesting to me to listen that you've had a streaking journey in that it seemed to take a little bit of time for you to have confidence that you could make something laughably simple. Like tried it a couple times and you're like, okay, I made that one too hard. That didn't work.
Yeah, because my first streak that I started was a physical streak, as people normally do.
Yeah.
Which comes naturally because it's what how we feel physically has so much impact on our life every minute. So it makes sense that the first thoughts would be, okay, how can I maintain physically?
And so my laughably simple streak was to sweat at least once daily, to break a sweat.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I started this in Colorado in the middle of winter. So it's not like something I can just walk outside and break a
that's
sweat.
hard.
And some days I ate a jalapeno and I started sweating during dinner, and I counted that.
Yeah.
But I only did that 1 or 2 times.
I have to pause right
Yeah.
there. You ate a jalapeno.
I'm not proud of this.
So hey, that's great.
That's
though.
what
I
it
mean,
is.
that's what it is,
Yeah.
right? That's the point. But just before we keep going down that path, when we left you at the reception, you went about doing your work as a videographer for the wedding, and I was roped into actually DJing that wedding.
That was so fun.
That was
you
such
did
a blast.
Great job, and
it was
I
so
loved
much fun.
being
Dan,
there.
Allison, thank you so much. Anyway, from that moment, what stuck in your brain? What was it about streaking that then you thought, well, I'm gonna
why
set a
did you
streak
walk away and still
think
about
I want
it?
to start a streak?
It was learning about don't streaks and how that doesn't work.
really?
So it was learning about what doesn't work and why.
Yeah.
And so walking away with, okay, don't streaks work, and making it laughably simple. So I kind of had the principles a little bit nailed down in my mind, but not
Right.
completely.
Yeah.
And so I went and I was dating Cammie at the time, and I told her all about it, and I told my 2 roommates.
Okay.
And I was like, this is something really interesting. I don't know all of it yet, but this is
And what did
different.
they say? What did they say when
They're
you
like,
told them?
they like when you're trying to explain something and you
know.
don't have a full concept of it.
And you
Yeah.
haven't had that. You're trying to explain an aha moment to someone else, and you're
Yeah.
like, no, it was
It
big.
was great.
It was.
You
it
don't
sounds
understand.
small and
Yeah.
insignificant now, but it was big.
But that's why the book, like, you listen to these podcasts, you may read the blogs, and you think, I have an idea of what streaking is. You don't. It's until you read the book and you have the full understanding. That's when it made the biggest difference. And once I read the book, because there's activities at the end of each chapter where completing those help you determine, who do I want to be? What's important to me?
Yeah.
What's not important to me?
Yeah. So with that, then you told your roommates, you told Cammie, and is that when you started your Break a Sweat once daily? Is that?
No, it was once I read the book.
Oh, it was once you read the
Okay.
book.
I didn't start that until once I read the book in February.
Because I think
Okay.
you either texted me or you told me, you're like, this is my first streak right here. At one, break at least once, or sweat at least once daily. That's what it was.
Yep.
Sweat
Right.
at least once daily.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. So we were you let us know that things were happening a little bit, but then you started. So from that streak, did you set another streak, or did you just keep that one going for a while?
I kept that one because in the book you recommend to
Yep.
do something for 100 days to prove to yourself that you can do it.
Right.
Yep.
I hit 100 days, and I think on day 101 I started 3 more. I was ready. I was
Okay,
like,
I
I
wanna
could
try
do
this.
this, and
Yeah.
I saw a difference because I started with, doing 10 push-ups,
Yeah.
and then I had a day where I ate a jalapeno. I did the bare minimum, but then from there it gave me confidence where I was doing 10-mile bike rides, and then 3-mile runs after dismounting from my bike.
Yeah.
It evolved to so much more where I was still completing my streak, but it evolved to where I was at as a person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can still, on my hardest days, break a sweat, but I do so much more than that's the beauty of at least.
And that is the beauty of at least. What were you going to say?
Well, and I love that as we talk about this, we've talked a lot about differentiating between a goal and a streak. And a goal is a start date, an end date, a completion. You've got something that tangible that you're like, I've done this.
Right.
To me, a streak is a journey. It's your journey through life. It's those days where you look back and you're like, I did the bare minimum. But then it's also those days where you look back and you're like, man, I did a lot those days. But it's this continued growth
Yeah.
throughout the phases of life as well.
Right.
It's acknowledging that life has ups and downs,
Absolutely.
and you can be consistent through the ups and downs
Yeah. I love that. Through the ups
and the downs.
and the downs, which we have several downs.
We have lots of downs.
And they're good downs.
They're awesome downs
Yeah.
and ups.
Anyway.
We were going to name one of our children ups
Ups and downs.
and downs.
So when you go
We
into, when you went, so when did you move from a physical streak? Because that's where everyone starts. And we're not, one of the things I look at is that we all want to be healthy in some way or another. And so starting with a physical streak is one of the things I believe you get is extrinsic validation from a physical streak, because you can say you've run 10 miles or bike 10 miles and you've run 3 miles. And, I can say the same. I've run a mile, or I've, run or walked a mile each day. And so there's this tangibleness of that. But there's intrinsically something that you can't really grasp onto. So when did you switch from what was your, what I call the breakout streak? When did you switch from the extrinsic physical to something that was more not quite extrinsic but intrinsic?
56 days ago.
Oh,
that's how long the streak is.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
56 days ago. All right. Talk to us about that.
So I currently work at an advertising agency in Colorado. I'm remote, which is nice, but I am in charge. I'm a social media manager. And so from going from content creation and trying to get more of the marketing side, the analytics side, I wanted to be a better marketer. And
Okay.
within our company, we have a certain amount of self-development activities you have to complete, and you get put in a raffle. So the minimum amount you have to do is 4 self-development activities in a quarter. So
Okay.
when I started the streak, we were about halfway into the quarter.
So when they presented that, did you think, you know what? I think I can set a streak around this. Or what kind of went through your mind at that point?
So from my B statement, I want to be a successful marketer.
Okay.
That's who I want to be.
Okay.
And so we've already done this in different quarters in the past with the company. And so halfway through this, I was like, I'm going to spend 10 minutes. I wasn't even thinking about the raffle
Yeah.
when I started, because I want to be, it was out of that.
Right.
I want to be a good marketer. So I started to spend at least 10 minutes a day learning about digital marketing. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Anything digital marketing.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because we recommend against time streaks.
It's a unique thing because you have to be careful that the time is an interesting thing. It's something we have to pay attention to. And so
Right.
the caution is that it can become about the time.
Right.
However, it's working for
Well,
Talan so far.
that's what I'm saying. It's not a no.
Maybe it's something to be aware of. It's
To be
like
very
a
aware of it.
self-analysis to
Because
look at it and
because
say,
if the clock becomes
the
the
clock
thing that you worry
becomes the
about,
thing.
but for you, it's really not the clock. It's 10 minutes for you goes by and you haven't even thought. It's laughably simple.
It's almost one video. Like
Yeah.
I don't time it exactly, but I
Right.
know that when I open it, I'm going to spend this amount of time on it.
Yeah, exactly.
and that's part of what I love about this is that with the streaks is that you have to decide for yourself what your laughably simple is and what's working for you.
right.
So the principles are there, and we found that a caution is with the time. The
Right.
time can be, but I love that it's a self-analysis and you're looking at going, no, this is working for me.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between the time one I set with trying to get up before 7 a.m.
There is.
Yes.
and the laughably simple of I can do 10 minutes.
I can do 10
I-
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And which is really interesting. So you set the streak. I'm going to spend at least 10 minutes looking at what was it?
Yeah, learning about digital marketing.
Learning
daily.
about digital marketing daily. All right. And so you set this streak. And you're
And
like, and it was deliberate at that point.
Oh,
You're like,
very
you know what,
deliberate.
I'm going to do this.
And then I started doing this. I was like, oh, this would count towards the raffle. So I started entering all the self-development things I was doing in the raffle sheet we have to track how many things we've been learning about or doing. And by the end of the quarter, which was 2 weeks ago, so I started halfway through the quarter, I ended up completing 30 different tickets.
30 different ones. Now, that sounds like a lot.
The next closest person was at 11.
Okay.
So 3 times the
Because
amount.
you were doing it
Really?
every day.
I was doing it every day. It was something that I wanted to be. And
Right.
from that, I won $100 Amazon gift card, and then that was a crucial point for me is after they discontinued or we decided that this wasn't going to go on anymore with the gift card. We'll think of something else.
Right.
And I had to say, was I doing it for the gift card?
Yeah.
Was I doing it to win the raffle?
So was it an extrinsic
or intrinsic?
reward, or was it something inside?
Yeah.
And
It was inside.
Yeah.
I came to the terms like, no, I want to be world class, like not world class, but I want to
You can
be
say
a
world class.
world
It's all
class
right.
digital marketer.
yeah.
Right.
I want to be really good at that.
Yeah.
And so I kept with it. And so every day I make sure I spend at least 10 minutes learning about digital marketing because it's going to be something that will help me in my professional career.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before learning about streaking, I would have no idea how to achieve the intangibles. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be kinder. I want to be more spiritual. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to be a better digital marketer.
Yeah.
Before streaking, I had no way of tracking how to become better. And through the raffle, I saw I got 3 times more than the
Right.
other person.
And you were doing something that you considered laughably small.
It was laughably small.
I mean,
It led to me getting certified in Google AdWords and Google Analytics and HubSpot social media marketing all within half a quarter.
Really?
Yeah. So I
Just
have all
by
these
doing 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day led me to have 3 different certifications that I could put on LinkedIn
Yeah.
that are highly valuable.
you know what's interesting too, though,
That's amazing.
is the 10 minutes a day was subservient to how long you could do it, because that's really the streaking methodology. The streaking methodology is not as much what you're doing, but how long you can do that thing.
And I don't even know what the word is for it, but this is the most interesting aspect of it for me, is because what you're doing is important. But by changing it to stringing it together of how many times can I do this in a row, I don't know what it is that's magic about that, but it changes it and it propels you to be able to do these things. So like for what you said, you're like, I accomplished more than I think I would have without it, but I wasn't focusing on what I was accomplishing. I was just focusing on doing it every day for this period of time. That was it. That was the focus. How many? And I don't want to miss a day.
Right.
And you weren't even saying it had to be, you weren't even looking and evaluating the level of the content of what you were doing. Just as long as I did it every day.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing to me, because it goes against a little bit what we think. We feel like, well, where's the, it needs to be valuable. It needs to be super, it needs to be a certain way. But really changing in your mind the thought that you're like, if I can just continuously do it, it's like the other stuff kind of takes care of it for you.
Absolutely.
And what I think about in goals, you want to set SMART goals, and the R is realistic.
Mm-hmm.
To me, laughably simple helps you make it realistic.
Yes.
Yes.
And so for that, it was realistic for me that I could spend this amount of time daily and I could keep that streak alive. And then from this experience, I've seen, wow, it is a testament to me that I could improve in any aspect of my life simultaneously.
Whatever you choose
usually
to do.
in life, you have to focus on one thing. You're like, I want to run this marathon and I have to spend
I need to
20
devote my
miles
life
today
to
Yes.
devoting to doing this one thing.
Yeah.
Where when you do that, it's great, but other things fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
Right.
Where streaking, you can do 6 or 7 different things daily that are all focused in different aspects of who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you are gradually growing in every aspect daily.
Right.
Absolutely.
And in anything else, that just doesn't happen.
And I loved your example too, because you could still have a goal. You could still be working on that goal.
For sure.
And you're not letting all of these other things slip. You may not be doing them at the level that you would at other times, but they are still being a consistent part of your life, even amid taking on a hard goal.
Right. One other aspect I wanted to point out here is we talk about law number 3 is create a community. And it's interesting because you were in a community of people who were focused on being great social media marketers. I mean, that was the community you were within, and that propelled even further your desire to do this. And sometimes I think we can overlook a little bit the community
Right.
because it's there. It just exists. But when you have, like, for example, these other, because what did your coworkers say, your colleagues say, and your leaders say when you came up with this and said, well, I've got 30 things that I've qualified for. I've been able to put 30 things in the raffle. I mean,
So I knew it was a little bit unheard of. I've never seen it before. So I contacted my manager, like, am I doing this right? Is this cheating?
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me check. And so she looked into it. She's like, no. And she just started laughing.
Really?
I was like, why are you laughing? She's like, this just doesn't happen. And I was like, felt really good about that. She's like, this doesn't happen. Like, people don't do this much. And I was like, that makes me feel really good.
Wow. And so at any time, did you feel like it was a whip, like you had to do it? Like you were just one of those things where you were just like,
Honestly,
you know what
no.
Yeah.
Because it's who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I was excited to do it. It was something where I was learning every day, even if some days I spent just the 10 minutes.
Right.
And other
Right.
days I spent the hour to take the test to get certified.
Yeah.
Right.
So no, I don't think it's not a whip.
And the streak is still going strong.
Still going strong. I did LinkedIn, learned about SEO this morning.
Okay.
So-
Nice.
There
and
you go.
as that community kind of ended with the raffle, it was funny. I immediately reached out to my brother, who is in a similar field, and we've been sharing different courses we're taking.
Community.
It's big. It's a big part
That's
of
what
it.
I was going to say. We received a note from someone the other day that had talked about that they'd ordered the book and they were looking into the app. And the first thing they did is text someone that they know had read the book before them and asked, what are some of your streaks? What are you doing?
It's
There's
a huge
something
part of it. There's
intrinsic that
something.
we want that community. We want to know what other people are doing. And you started this by asking about the streaking shorts, which was the opportunity to
see
share
other people's
streaks
yeah.
and learn. And I was thinking this morning, I'm like, what is it about the community? Why is that an important part of it? And I thought, because we learn and grow we need each other.
Yeah.
We learn from others and we teach others. And that's how we as people grow. We need other people.
So one of my dreams that I have out there is to have a streaking conference at some point where we can get all these streakers together, and we've got all the different streaks that are going on, and we highlight some, and I would love to have, like, for example, Cal Ripken Jr. come and speak to us. I'd like to have Jehangir
Just a
Khan.
shout out to Cal Ripken if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening out there.
We want you.
Yeah, and Jehangir Khan, I want him to be able to come and speak to us, because these are individuals that have mastered the art of the small and simple.
Yes,
they understand
intuitively
consistency.
knew.
Yeah. And that's it. They understand this whole idea of consistency.
The other thing that I love too, and this is Talan's verbiage that I'm going to use, is that streaking isn't 2-day Amazon shipping. In other words, there's a level of patience.
What were you meaning when you said that? You and I were talking a little bit about that.
We're a want now society. We like the immediate gratification, and that's why if it doesn't arrive in 2 days, we get frustrated.
Right.
If it arrives next Saturday, we want
We're like,
nothing to do with it. We'll
Where's
look
my
anywhere
2-day
else.
shipping?
And we'll even sacrifice quality
Yes.
of the product if it can get there in 2 days.
In 2 days.
Streaking is not 2-day shipping,
No.
and neither is growth.
Yeah.
No.
It's not growth. Growth is, one, not a habit. Growth can be aided by a goal, but consistent growth, the growth that you really want, the growth that allows you to be who you want to be, is all about the laughably small things that you keep a record of and you have a community around. That is streaking. That's the whole process.
2 weeks ago, Cami and I took a trip to, it's a place in southern Utah known as Bryce Canyon. And in Bryce Canyon, it's formed by small pieces of ice that froze and then melted during the day, and it expanded these vast canyons.
Wow.
Really?
Growth is all about the small.
It is.
And it creates big results in the end. And I couldn't. That's how much I love streaking. Everything I see is now
You're like,
growth.
look,
Small, consistent. This is it. It's beautiful.
Yep.
And that is it. And, as we wrap with Talan here, we've had 3 great podcasts with you, Talan. Anything that you'd like to say as far as to the streaking audience? We're going to have you on other ones, obviously, because we all are associated. But anything as we wrap this series?
If you're listening to this and haven't bought the book or read the book, you need to.
Okay.
It's something, if you value personal growth, professional growth, and you hadn't had an opportunity to see intangible growth, streaking is the way to get past that. I wouldn't want to have asked to be part of this company unless I totally believed in it.
And we hope he is the absolute world-class best social marketer ever.
I think he's going to be.
He is.
Well on his way.
Well on his way. Well, thanks everyone for listening today. We've enjoyed talking to you. If you've bought the book, thank you, and we'd love to hear from you. Share with us your streaking experience, your streaking journey at either Jeffrey, Jefffery, at streakingmastery.com.
Or Jamie, Jami, at streakingmastery.com.
Or Talan, Talan, at streakingmastery.com.
And just one more shout out to Dave and the developers for that great streaking app. It is absolutely fantastic. Next time, we're going to talk about Jamie finding her dead grandpa that was not dead. Go figure that one. All right, everyone. Have a great one. Until we see you again, keep streaking.
That make you grow into what you're hoping. You're in a hurry. Don't even worry. It's too simple not to do. It's the little things that make a better you. A better you.